What are the legal issues, though, that might have led Ohio State to say, okay, it's cheaper to keep him, to use that phrase?
No, you're right.
Brett.
You're right, Rich. Yeah, well, so technically, I guess he didn't violate any Title IX policies and any of the school's sexual misconduct policies. Another thing, Urban said that he followed proper protocol as far as when he was notified about this. Well, that's a lie. He didn't follow any protocol. It's known that the Powell police contacted Ohio State's Title IX office. They then contacted Gene Smith. He then contacted Zach Smith asking about the 2015 incidents. Urban Meyer didn't follow any protocol because he didn't do anything because other people knew about it. As far as what legal issues there were, since Ohio State felt like they could not fire him with cause and basically mean they don't have to pay Ohio State or pay Urban Meyer the $40 million, I'm sure that was a consideration because they knew Urban's attorneys would push back on that. And ultimately, I think you're right. They figured it would be cheaper to keep him. We give him a 3-game suspension, and everybody moves on, and we worry about winning the Big Ten and getting to the college football playoff.
Brett McMurphy here on the Rich Eisen Show. And again, I based on the report, it says flat out that Shelley and Urban Meyer did not believe Courtney Smith, even in the 2009 incident. This whole reading in between the lines is the folks at Ohio State did not believe Courtney Smith to be credible based on what either Zach was saying or whatever else they knew it was going on behind the scenes. What does Courtney Smith say about, have you connected with her at all since this announcement took place, Brett?
I have talked to her. I'm not sure when she'll put out a statement on this, but again, the reason why they don't find her credible is because I'll play along with you. If what she said is accurate, which I have no reason to believe it wasn't, then that means Urban Meyer's job is in danger. That means every assistant coach on that staff's job is in danger. And so they can do one of two things. They can admit, well, you know what, we find Courtney credible, or we can try to tear her down and dispute everything she says and not believe her. And then that way we're still employed and, we're making all this money. So that's the easiest route to go. Courtney told me early on when I was talking to her that in 2015, when the domestic violence incidents occurred, that a couple of wives of the assistant coaches that she had been in constant contact with basically said, I cannot talk to you anymore. I'm not allowed to talk to you anymore, because their husbands realized that if this went down, then they could all get swept up into it and Urban could be gone, and then they're gone out on the street. So again, they have a reason to dispute or try to discredit her because she is threatening. She's not threatening them, but her information ultimately could make them lose their jobs. And so that's why they tried to attack their credibility. It's like Zach Smith goes on ESPN and says, I never abused Courtney Smith. Well, I've got a text message, and I tweeted it as soon as he said that, where he admits and apologizes for strangling Courtney in 2015 in March and in April. So, yeah, there's a bunch of lies there because they were all CYA. They're all trying to protect their jobs and their livelihoods, and the easiest way is to try to discredit and make Courtney not seem credible.
So I guess when it all comes down to it, Brett, I mean, why do you think Ohio State did what it did yesterday?
It seems like that President Michael Drake wanted to punish Urban Meyer more, perhaps. I don't know if he wanted to fire him. I know he has fired some high-profile people in the past at Ohio State that did a lot less than what Urban Meyer did. I think ultimately they decided that, like you said, I think financial issues were a concern. It's cheaper to keep him, and they could spin this and just, say that they've looked into it and they're ready to move forward. And what they said is football means more than anything else, because the fact that they wouldn't even acknowledge Courtney Smith in their statements or domestic violence or anything like that, I think that that shows who they really are. Again, Urban Meyer and Gene Smith were told about the 2015 incidents. And again, you don't have to be convicted of this. You just have to have a suspicion or have knowledge of it to look into it. Neither Gene Smith or Urban Meyer told their compliance department about that a member of their staff was being investigated for this. That's a blatant cover-up. There's no excuse. You don't forget to do that. That's a blatant decision because you don't want this information to get out and you don't want it to go any further.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.